Now, sometimes it's nice to see how you're paying off the loan on in a table or some other form. And so, when loans are amortized, it's common to provide a chart for that, and it shows the amount of interest you actually pay in each payment. Shows you how much you're going to pay toward reducing the loan, so how much of the balance you're actually paying, and then also shows you the new loan balance after you do that payment. And this is called an amortization schedule. And so basically, we're going to look at this and we're going to create a schedule going through payments of a loan here. Now, this is the hard way, doing it by hand, because if we do a computer or a calculator, that would be a very efficient way to do it. And one of your assignments actually is to do it on Excel. So that's something you'll figure out how to do with Excel. So on this one, let's suppose we borrow $1,000 and agree to repay the loan in six equal payments and 1% interest per month on the unpaid balance. And so we're supposed to construct this schedule and showing how much each of the pieces are. And so first, we have to compute the required monthly payment. So we know what the present value is, we know the I, and we know the N. And so we plug all that in and we find out we're going to make payments of $172.55. So that's not too bad. And we're making, again, six payments. So this is going to be a short table, just 6 lines. Now think about if you were paying a house loan off in 30 years, that's going to be hundreds of lines. So those are going to be saved for computers or Excel sheets or something else. So the first payment of 172.55 is made at the end of that first month. And the interest due at the end of the first month is basically 1% of what your balance was, which is we borrowed 1,000, so 1% of that is $10. And so our 172.55 has two parts, payment of the interest and reducing the unpaid balance. So what we have to do is the payment is 172. We know we have to pay that much. That's guaranteed we have to pay. And so we subtract those. So that's the unpaid balance reduction, basically. And so we take 1,000 minus that and we get our 837.45, which is our new balance. So that's kind of like line one of our amortization schedule. Now, line two, basically now we have to do 1% of our new balance, 837.45, and so that's $8.37. Now, one thing to note here is that showing it like this without doing it on a computer, we're going to end up with a rounding error. Because if we look at this 837.45, well, that is 37, and depending on how you round, how many cents or thousandths of a cent or we go, we're going to lose or gain money here, and so there's going to be some differences at the end of our table compared to if we did it on a computer. All right, so we have to pay 837 for the next one. Our payment stays the same. That changes, so we take that from that and we get 164.18. So now we take that from our original balance on the previous line, which is 837.45, and we get 673.27. And so now we do our next one. Now it's 673.27. 1% of that's going to be 673, and we do the same thing. We take that minus that, we get our unpaid balance reduction. Take that from this, and we get 507.45 as our new balance, and we just keep going. Now that's our new balance, so 1% of that's 5.07, so that's going to be our interest. We take our 172 minus that 5, and we get 167.48. Now we're down to a new balance of 339.97. And again, we just keep doing this and doing this, and here pretty soon now we're getting closer. Notice we're down to 170.82, so we're one more payment and we should be done. And here we get $1.71 is going to be our last amount of interest. So we subtract that from that. So 170.84, and our balance is zero. But if you really think about that, there's a balance going to be really zero. There's a small difference actually in that balance because again, everything was rounded here, and so it's this difference is due to the rounding. When you do it on the computer, you just don't round it, and then you'll see it goes to zero. So what does the table look like? Well, so this is what the table looks like in full. So we have the payment number, the payment, the interest, the unpaid balance, and reduction rather, and then the unpaid balance at the end. And so here, we paid an extra 2 cents based on how that went, but that's okay. So again, it's just based on how you did the rounding throughout the whole problem. And so that gives hopefully a good explanation of the amortization. And like I said, you'll have an example like this. You have to work on Excel for homework.